Welcome back to U.S. Farm Report. Trusted, timely, tradition.
Well, USDA is set to release an updated look at planted acreage next week, but after farmers in many areas of the Corn Belt planted the crop in near record fashion this spring, the moisture situation made a dramatic turn. And now there's more debate about crop size and potential yields than there are acres. In this week's Farm Journal report, Michelle Rook looks at the crumbling Midwest crop conditions.
Although it's early in the season, farmers say they're losing yield as national crop ratings have dropped like a rock. More than 50% of corn and soybean acres are now in some level of drought, and major production areas are even experiencing a flash drought. And without rain soon, some farmers say they're on the verge of a disaster. The 2023 crop season got off to a great start for Central Illinois farmer Brad Wade. Even though he had to replant some beans due to frost, he got an excellent stand on both beans and corn. However, nearly 70% of the state is now short to very short on subsoil moisture.
Our subsoil moisture here north of McLean is very poor. We've had just enough rain since planting to keep things going, but we're on fumes as far as soil moisture goes.
Drought is deepening across the Corn Belt with major production areas dry for the last few weeks and actually experiencing a flash drought.
And we see these numbers kind of changing. We see the drought monitor expanding after seeing a major contraction, for the last several months coming out of last fall's drought. And it starts to worry us. Now, when we look back at this time period, like May 10th to June 10th, parts of the Great Lakes Basin, Mississippi Basin, Ohio Basin were at the driest they've been in our 131 years worth of records.
So crop stress is becoming a real concern, especially in corn as it's heading into pollination, its key reproductive stage.
We're starting to see the effects of some drought stress. Field of corn behind me is starting to roll up and it's 11 o'clock in the morning. It's been relatively cool overnight, so that's a danger sign.
Wade says it's already resulting in yield loss.
So the degree of damage is a 300 bushel corn that's now 280. Somebody's not going to worry too much about that. But if it's 250 corn going to 200, that's kind of a bigger deal. I think we're 10 days away from that. We need a rain by the 1st of July to really stop the damage, because we're determining rows around on corn right now or already have, so that's going to be a factor.
Soybeans are an August crop, but Wade says that crop is also in jeopardy. Stunted plants won't put on as many nodes or pods, hurting yield potential. Crop stress is showing up early for farmers in parts of northwest Iowa. While some areas of the state received rain recently, many others were missed and have been seeing carryover from last year's drought.
Tiles in a lot of places haven't run for a year, if not two. I know last year Woodbury County, National Weather Service recorded the second lowest precipitation on record. I think 1933 was number one. According to the rain gauge at my place, I'm actually behind versus last year.
The beans are stunted and the corn is visibly showing the impact of not just dry conditions, but also heat with highs in the 90s the last 2 weeks.
It just seems like during the day you see the sandy spots out in the hills and the corn curling up, so it makes you really wonder, is there going to be permanent damage from this type of heat stress?
Nelson believes he's already losing top-end yield with conditions worse than recent droughts.
We weren't worried about the crop at this point in 2012 and we are now. The highest usage days are coming up and some of the hottest days are coming up, and there's absolutely nothing in the tank. There's nothing in the soil.
Central Iowa had better subsoil moisture, but spring precip is still running below normal.
Probably down 35–40% right now on moisture that we typically do. So a lot of the tiles are still flowing, but they're kind of drying up too a little bit.
Lloyd's optimistic the crop hasn't been hurt yet, but says rain is critical in the next 2 weeks or they'll shave top-end yield.
It's hard to put a figure on it, but probably 20% at least by July, And the thing is, it just depends how much and when. I mean, we've been getting a couple little sprinkles, but 1/10 of an inch here and there is not really doing it, Not even keeping the dust down.
However, corn is rooting deeper with the stress, and if those areas receive moisture, they could still rebound and see some surprisingly strong yields. I'm Michelle Rook for U.S. Farm Report.
Thank you, Michelle. And not only will USDA give an updated look at acres coming up on Friday, but they will also refresh the grain stocks report. So what has the potential to be the bigger market mover? Brian Grady and Matt Bennett rejoin us for U.S. Farm Report next.